Hello and thank you for watching the Cheap Watch Guy channel. I'm the Cheap Watch Guy. If you like this video, please like and subscribe. Also, leave a comment. I read them all and appreciate your feedback. I have my white gloves on today. You know it must be something good if I'm wearing my white gloves. Just what is it, you ask? Well, I'll tell you. It's the Paularies Master Chronometer Coaxial ZR02. More on the name later. I like them so much, I bought two different colors. This is obviously an homage, ripoff, of the Omega Seamaster Planet Ocean. Considering the Omega is between $4,800 and $5,300, and this one's $25, I think I got a pretty good deal. I could buy about 200 of these knockoffs before I reach the price of the Omega. In fact, you could buy 12 in each color before you reach the cost of the Omega. Man, I'm in the wrong business. I should start making watches instead of watch videos. Also, this doesn't include the cost of servicing the Omega, which would be about the same as an additional 20 of these Paularies or Paularies or, well, how do you say it? I don't know. It doesn't matter. It's a knockoff. Let's just move on with it. The real question is, how good of a knockoff is it? And is it worth the $25 AliExpress charges for it? Well, let's take a look. First, the specs. Water resistance is 30 meters per the website, but the dial says 200. I'm confused, but not really. It's 30 meters. The band is 22 millimeters wide with a stamped clasp. Pretty cheap feel to it, actually. It does have double pushers and is signed with the name and logo. That's a nice touch. The logo is a silhouette of two lions facing a crest with a P on it. Pretty fancy, actually. It must harken back to the centuries-old lineage of this historic and revered brand. No. It does look pretty cool, though. My wrist is 6.5 inches, and I have it on the very smallest adjustment. If your wrist is any smaller, I don't think it'll work for you. The case is 15 millimeters thick and a whopping 45 millimeters wide. It's a biggin'. The dome crystal is Hardlex, and boy is it a beauty. Just look at the distortion on that baby. I absolutely love it. This thing is big, round, and driving me crazy, if you know what I mean. In the right light, you can see the blue hint of anti-reflective coating on the underside. Just gorgeous. The helium escape valve at 10 o'clock is fake, just like the printing on the dial, but more on that later. The bezel is a 60-click and unidirectional, which is what you'd expect from a diver. Although it's 30 millimeters water resistant, so it's not really a diver. Anyway, there is a bit of backplay, but not too bad considering the price point. There's also a loom pip at the 12 o'clock position. They claim the case is alloy, but it looks like stainless steel to me. Nice brushing on the sides and polish on the top. Very nice attention to detail for a $25 watch. The crown is unsigned and is push-pull. There's a good solid feeling to the crown, not rough or gritty like you find on some cheap watches. Back to the face. At 12 o'clock, you have that historic not double lion logo with the P crest. Below that is Paularies. Paularies? I don't know. Automatic and professional. Automatic I'll give you. Professional, I'm not having it. At 30 meters, it is definitely not a professional diver. On the bottom, you have ZR02. I did a little digging and found out that ZR is a symbol for zirconium, as in cubic zirconium. You know, that stuff you told your wife was just as good as a real diamond? Yeah, that stuff. It makes sense now that I think about it. Zirconium is fake diamond, and this is a fake Omega. Huh. O is oxygen. Put it together, and you get zirconium dioxide. That's actually a real thing. It's a ceramic used in making dental devices like dentures and crowns and bridges. Omega must use it because of its hardness and scratch resistance, but I'm quite sure there's none of it in this $25 watch. That fake diamond you gave your wife was cheap, but it wasn't that cheap. Coaxial is also printed on the dial, along with the 200-meter water resistance. No way. As I mentioned earlier, it's only 30 meters. It also claimed to be a master chronometer. Also not the case. The master chronometer certification is given by the COSC, which is the official Swiss Chronometer Testing Institute. They only test Swiss watches. This is not a Swiss watch. Moving on. The arrow hands are big and bold with the minute hand just reaching the minute track on the dial. The second hand has a red tip at the end of the loomed arrow. There are numerals at 12, 6, and 9, and a date window at 3. Granted, the window is small and unframed, but still readable. The hour markers are large with a good amount of loom. I think the blue dial is a bit easier to read because of the greater contrast, but you can't go wrong with either. The champagne dial is also nice. Okay, let's talk about the band. It's a bit of a mixed bag. It's silicone with a fabric outer cover. I like the orange stitching, but I have to admit, it's a bit stiff. I'd show you a loom shot, but it didn't come out very well. Let's take a look at the back. You get a great view of this automatic movement with a signed rotor. A signed rotor on a $25 watch? Who would have thunk it? By the way, the movement also allows hand winding, but does not hack. I have to wonder why they bothered with a screw-down back when you only get 30 minutes of water resistance. It seems like a waste to me, but hey, maybe it's just over-engineered. So we know that they're ripping off the Omega when they made it. 0 points for originality. But what's the score for execution? Well, I'll tell you, I like it. I like it a lot. Is it perfect? Of course not. Let's start with the bezel. A nice solid click, but a bit of a rough feel to it. Kind of gritty. The backplay is not bad for the price, but it's also not great. The QC could definitely be better. The applied hour indices are not all straight. I'll put up some macro shots so you can see the detail. The loom is just okay too. I have to admit, you have to look for some of these flaws, and for $25, nobody's going to look too close. On wrist, it's heavy. This bad boy is a beast. It tips the scales at only 108 grams, but that is due to the rubber strap. This watch wears heavier because it's so thick. It feels top heavy as well. You don't forget you're wearing it, that's for sure. It's not entirely a bad thing. It just has a lot of presence on the wrist. Okay. Let's get down to why you came here. You want to know how this watch stacks up on the famous cheap watch guy scale. I can't tell you the number of watch brands that have gone under because of a poor showing on this channel. I have spent countless hours creating the perfect tool to measure the quality of a watch. Many have tried, and all have failed to replicate its beauty and complexity. This scale takes into account the manufacturing, marketing, distribution, style, and price of a watch. Its sole purpose is to give you, the viewer, the information you need to make the best possible buying decision. So without further ado, here are the results. First, the cheap-o-meter. I'm sorry, but this gets a low score on the scale. At $25, they are at the very high end of my budget. A normal human being with no emotional or cognitive impairments would consider this a great deal. Unfortunately, I'm not such a person. By cheap watch guy standards, these boys are pricey. Cha-ching, baby! Second, the value-o-meter. Home run on this one. $25 is a lot of money for a cheap guy like me, but I think you are getting a lot of watch for the money. Automatic movement with a signed rotor, decent loom, big, easy to read hands, and a ton of wrist presence. Don't forget that gorgeous domed crystal. These scream value to me. Last, the quality-o-meter. Not a home run, but maybe a double. The finish on the case and dial are very good for the price. The hands are great. The crystal is an absolute joy to look at. Unfortunately, the bezel and band are a letdown. The fake helium valve? Why? Just why? The fake printing? Why? Why? Would I buy it again? Definitely. Lots of wrist presence. Gorgeous crystal, beautiful face, and $25? The shortcomings are minor compared to what you get. I may go back and pick up more colors. Here's a profile looking down the wrist. Man, it sits pretty high. If you enjoyed this video, please like and subscribe. Be sure to check back for more videos soon from the Cheap Watch Guy. Thank you.